So students, today we will discuss the features of microprocessor 8086, which is Intel microprocessor, which is the base of all the processors that are in current use. The processors which we are using these days in our laptops or in our desktops, they are the Intel microprocessors normally, and the base of these processors is microprocessor 8086. Although 8086 is only of laboratory use now, but still we need to study it because it forms the base of current processors. Now to start with, we discuss the features of 8086 microprocessor today. And the first and foremost important feature of 8086 microprocessor is that it is a 16-bit processor. Now we say that it is a 16-bit processor. Why? Because its ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit, is of 16-bit. So ALU stands for arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit is very important part in any processor. So if I say that any processor is 16-bit or 32-bit or 64-bit, that can be said from the capacity of the ALU of that processor. If arithmetic and logic unit of any processor is 16-bit, we say that the processor is 16-bit. So here in 8086 microprocessor, the arithmetic and logic unit is of 16-bit, and that is why we say that microprocessor 8086 is 16-bit processor. Now the capacity of ALU says that in ALU, at one go or at one time, we can perform any addition, subtraction, or maybe any arithmetic or any logical operation of 16-bit data at one time. That is why the processor is said to be a 16-bit processor. Another important feature in 8086 is its address lines. Now address lines are very important part in any microprocessor. Microprocessor does not operate alone in any system. It operates with other devices such as memory, input-output devices, and there are certain other chips also which work with microprocessor. So out of so many devices that are connected with microprocessor, if processor wants to communicate with any one particular device, then that device can be identified from its address. So if we have n number of devices connected with microprocessor, then processor can communicate with any one device using its address, and this address is transferred over the address lines of the microprocessor. So microprocessor has basically three types of bus available: the address bus, data bus, and control bus. The address bus indicates those connections by using which processor transfers the address of the corresponding device with which it wants to communicate. Now the number of address lines which are available with microprocessor 8086 are 20, and these are represented as A19 to A16 and AD15 to AD0, in which the A19 to A16, these address lines are only address lines which are merged with the status lines. On the other hand, AD15 to AD0, these are the address lines which are multiplexed with the data lines as well. So address and data lines are multiplexed as AD15 to AD0. Now microprocessor has 20 address lines, but over these address lines it transfers the address in two formats. The first format represents the memory address, in which the address is always of 20 bits, and the second format of the address represents IO port address. IO port address represents the address in 16 bits. So microprocessor has 20 address lines, and over these address lines it transfers either the memory address, which is of 20 bits, or it transfers IO port address, which is of 16 bit. The third important feature in 8086 that it has got 16 data lines. The data lines which are available in 8086 are AD15 to AD0. So AD15 to AD0, these lines are multiplexed address cum data lines. That means the same lines are used by microprocessor for transmission of address as well as data, both, but at different time. So AD15 to AD0 represents the data lines. That means when processor communicates with any device, it can transfer the data into the memory, or it can transfer the data with any other device such as input output device, and this can be done using data lines. The data can be read from the memory or it can be returned into the memory. So processor can read the data from memory or it can write data into the memory, or processor can read the data from input device or it can write the data into the output device, and this reading writing operation is carried out through data lines, for which the number of lines available are 16. So at one time processor can transfer 16-bit data to any device, or it can read 16-bit data from any device. The next important feature in 8086 is its memory interface. Now in microprocessor, we know that we have in 8086 we have total 20 address lines, and using these 20 address lines, the maximum memory that can be connected with 8086 is 2 raised to power 20. Now for any processor, if it has got n number of address lines, then the maximum that memory that can be connected with that processor is 2 raised to power n. Now how this concept is realized? See, if we have two address lines, then using two address lines, the possible addresses that can be generated are 00, 01, 10 and 11. So 4 possible addresses are generated. So it represents 2 raised to power 2, that is 4. If we have 3 address lines, then the possible addresses that can be generated are 000, 001 up to 111, which is total 8. So 2 raised to power 3, that is 8. So that is how, if processor has 20 address lines, so the total addresses that can be generated by processor are 2 raised to power 20, and 2 raised to power 20 addresses represents 2 raised to power 10 into 2 raised to power 10, which is equal to 1k into 1k, and this is equal to 1 megabyte. So in microprocessor 8086, the maximum memory which can be interfaced with 8086 is 1 MB. So the most important feature in 8086 is the maximum memory that can be connected with 8086 represents 2 raised to power 20, which is equal to 1 MB. It doesn't mean that we cannot connect the lower capacity memory. We may connect 1K, 2K or 16K or 32K memory, but the maximum that can be connected is 1 MB. Another important feature in 8086 is about the IO ports. IO ports means input output ports. Now in microprocessor, other than memory, the other device that can be connected with microprocessor is input output device. Now whenever microprocessor is connected with any input output device, it is connected through IO ports. For example, 8086 microprocessor is connected with any input or output device, then it is always connected through input output port. So input output port provides a platform between input output device. Any input output device cannot be directly connected with microprocessor, but it can be connected to the microprocessor through input output port. Now as we have the memory address, every memory location will have a separate address. In a similar manner, all the input output devices that are connected with 8086 through input output ports will also be identified by their address. In microprocessor 8086, the address for input output port available is 16 bits. That means one IO port, if it is connected with microprocessor, will be assigned with the 16-bit address. Now using this 16-bit address, the maximum IO ports that can be connected with 8086 microprocessor is 2 raised to power 16, which is equal to 64 KB, which is equivalent to 65,536. It means that in 8086 microprocessor, the maximum IO port addresses that can be generated are 65,536. So these many number of input output devices can be connected with 8086 microprocessor at a time. So if we talk about memory, the maximum memory that can be connected is 1 MB, and maximum input output devices that can be connected are 65,536, and this is identified from the fact that the memory address generated by 8086 is of 20 bits and the IO port address generated for 8086 is of 16 bit. Then the another important feature in 8086 is its clock frequency. We know that microprocessor is a kind of a digital circuit, and for any digital circuit the most important signal which is required is its clock signal. All the circuits that are internally available are synchronized using a clock frequency. So the clock frequency decides the speed of operation of that microprocessor. In 8086 microprocessor there are two versions available. The basic version has the clock frequency of 5 MHz, and the advanced version has the clock frequency of 10 MHz. That means we can operate the 8086 microprocessor by applying a clock signal, which is a square wave signal of either a 5 MHz or 10 MHz frequency, by which the internal circuitry of 8086 is operated, and it can be operated with a given speed. Now in any microprocessor, clock frequency decides the speed of the processor. If we have the higher clock frequency, then the speed of the processor is more. For the versions available in 8086, 5 MHz and 10 MHz frequencies are available for the basic version and the advanced version respectively. So with this, these are the basic features available in 8086 microprocessor, and using these features only we can understand the basic architecture and another important concepts in 8086 microprocessor, which can be discussed in the next lecture. Thank you.